Okay, boys and girls, DK here with Mr. V Amps, and we have an auction surprise. I guess it's not a surprise, but it's an auction thing. We got a Conn ST-11 Strobotuner with a dent in the top. So the handle's dented in a little bit. Not too bad. Got some identifying spray paint, probably belongs to a school or something. We actually do have the power cord, which is great, because those who don't have, or who have a power cord for sale, want a king's ransom. And then we got some random blue tape on goo and stuff on the bottom. So it's greasy, but we got to see if it's going to work. So I'm assuming the ST-11 works pretty much like an ST something else, like we'll say the ST-1, 2, 4, 6, or 8 that I've had before. So we're at off. Let's snap it to calibrate and see if it explodes. Okay, for starters, it didn't do nothing, but I didn't plug it in yet because I forgot. So yeah, 3-prong grounded cord, good. Hey, this cord says something on it. Just connect to grounded outlet. I wonder if that had a manufacturer code, so maybe we could figure out what that weird one was. Okay, calibrate. Alright. Power and she's a spinning. Okay, so when we calibrate, the goal is right there. See that? This pot's dirty. This pot is dirty, I can tell. It's okay. We want to be right. This is like dirty. We're going to clean this, but it's trying to work. See how it's kind of skipping? That happy spot ain't there. But we want to get this disc to kind of steady itself. And it either goes too fast or too slow. Let's work that pot a little bit more. We'll put the cleaner in it if this is a pot. The old school tube ones had an inductor. Boy, I can't find the happy spot, man. I either am going backwards or I'm going forwards. That's as close as I can get it to stopped. So I'm going to call that close enough. Let's put it on normal. Oh, it decided to stop now. It's going to behave. You going to be good? Or are you going to drift? That's pretty good for calibration. Guess it changed its mind. So now we go to normal, and then we can pick a note. Pick a A, and then I'll get a microphone and pitch maker, and we'll see if it actually works. Okay, so I got a microphone and I got the pitch maker here, playing a 440, which is generally pretty accurate. You can see it's rolling a little bit the wrong way, but that's okay. That's about the right gain. It's rolling a little bit, but we know the calibration is out because calibration pot needs cleaned. Let's try a different note. There's an A that's pretty darn close. Probably just because I couldn't calibrate it. Let's try a C. We come to a C and now it's making clunky noises. Can you hear that? It's like it's wrestling with that note. The faster notes it's okay, but I think that this strobe wheel is physically dragging in there. I think it's dragging. So it can't comfortably spin at the correct pitch. So we'll have to deal with that. Let's take it apart. We got to clean that pot anyway. It wants to work. Now, I have never owned an ST-11, nor have I taken one apart. So you're on this adventure with me for the first time. figuring out what the hell we're getting into. Okay, that's a really long bolt, so I'm gonna bet that this thing is like gonna slide out of its housing. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay, 4 bolts are out. Now does that slide forward or back, or what happens? Maybe this is the back of the case and the rest of it dumps out the front. Oh no, okay, this part comes off there. Okay, cool. Alright, we figured that out. So, nice vintage multi-section cap down there. Let's see if she'd be leaking. Maybe, maybe not. Can't tell, because it's got other stuff on rounding through it. And rust. Great. It's like that calibration pot. It's right there. I can kind of get to it. I think I can get to it. Can I really get to it? Looks like it's got like a rubber dust boot or something on it. Is that a rubber dust boot? I don't know. And then we got to figure out why this is ticking or what that's rubbing against. Okay, what I've discovered is there's a little bit of scrapage here on the face. And on certain notes, I think when it changes the motor speed, the motor, you know, this disc might come forward or backward. We're talking microns. And it's enough to make it scrape. And it seems like note C is a scraper. You can hear it tick, 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 tick. Some notes will scrape and some don't. So we need to fix that, see if that helps. If I can maybe, I don't know if the motor mount's got a little bit of a bend on it, or if we just need to put a little like paper thin washer in there to spread it out a little bit more. Okay, well, we've made some progress. Let's go through what this thing does at this point. So let's start with let's go down an octave here. We'll just start going down the scale. There is a C sharp that looks proper. I don't know if y'all can see this on the screen. It looks kind of like the wheel stopped. Okay. My pitch generator's fairly close, so there's C sharp. There's a, let's go up. Crap. There's a D. D sharp, looks good. E, it's good. F, good. F sharp, good. G, good. G sharp, good. A, good. A sharp, good. B, no. The motor doesn't know what speed to go at. Something ain't right there. And then C is the same scenario. And then C sharp goes back to working again. So we've got something in our circuit that's a little joshed. The motor mounts on 4 little springy clips. Let's see if we can zoom in. Maybe you can see them. But somebody had turned the screws down too far. See these little, there's a little black springy clip there. Let's see if I can zoom in on that a little bit. Maybe you can get a gist of it. That's ain't gonna zoom. Of course, focus, you turd. Come on. Focus. Focus. Anyway, there's a little black springy clip that's supposed to kind of hold that away, and somebody tightened it all the way down. So anyway, we got to figure out why B and C aren't working, but the other notes all work, so we're closer to there than not there. Now, thank heavens, I was fooling myself. Sometimes that little pocket pitch device can be a little screwball, and it'll get in a harmonic with the microphone and throws things off. I've got my cell phone playing a C on the piano. It's tuning up just fine. That looks just fine. Let's see if B works. Now I did re-clean the switch again. Let's try B. Probably get copyright strike for borrowing somebody's video on YouTube, even though it's one friggin' note over and over. Probably copyright some rap artist, right? There's B. Well, it doesn't look as hot. It's there. It's there. I don't think that's right. I would love to hear more of a dead version of it, though. I mean, I did clean at the switch. Maybe I need to keep cleaning at the switch to research that. Yeah. Let's click through a little bit, clean that switch just a little bit more. And I'm going to try a different microphone just in case this doesn't like this one. It looks like it's trying. So let's try a different microphone. I have one that these like a little bit better, but it looks like it's trying to hit the right note. This particular microphone is sometimes a little squirrely, and it's kind of more for real old tube equipment. So with the motor running at whatever speed B is, the image is not as sharp, which is using the same lights, but it probably just has to do with the RPM. It does lock in a B. It is down here. A little faded looking, but it's locked in. And then I can go up to the next octave here. I'm just direct feeding it so I don't get weird microphone noise. There's our next octave. So it's there. Let's go up one more octave. There it is. It's there. It's working. Let's try the C's that weren't working. Oh, that's weird. I just switched it from B to C. I figured it would have flipped its lid on me. That's a C. Oh, it's not going to play ball again, huh? Just thinking about it. I had it doing it. It was doing C just fine. Now it's changed its mind. That's a fifth octave. Let's try a lower C. Give it something easy. There's a third octave. There's a fourth octave C. Should be able to lock in on that. She's a-drifting again. Eh, boy. Is it because I got this all out of whack? Did I bump this when I wasn't looking? No. That would be way too far out of calibration. Let's go back to the A. That's pretty well nails on. That looks great. Let's go up to the back to the C again. That should be a fourth octave C, and it ain't running good. Let's see, is it running too fast or is it running too slow? It's running too fast. See if I slow it down. That's where it's at. It's running too fast. Something isn't slowing it down enough. Huh. because that should be a 4th octave C, or maybe it needs to run faster because it should be 4th octave, so it should be toward the bottom. That would be 7th octave, so it needs to be running faster than it is. I'll keep figuring it out. Okay, well, here's the speed bump. You might hear my nerd friends talking in the background. This board has 2 ICs. These ICs are SN4121N, and these are like a multi-vibrator. This is the oscillator circuit, okay? And something to do with the oscillation, obviously, which is what is fed and drives the motor. When I went to take one of these pins out, or one of these chips out for inspection, because there was this one, which was totally legible. This one wasn't really easy to read, and I went to take it out and the pins just turned to dust, so something must have spilled in there and it just became a corroded disaster piece. So I have no idea if the stupid camera will focus, but those pins just absolutely went to dust. So I'm going to try to clean that socket out, I guess. Get the busted pins out of it. That's going to be fun. Okay, well, we got it working. There's C. That tunes in okay. C sharp. Looks fine. D. Good. D sharp or E flat, good. E, good. F, good. F sharp, good. G, good. G sharp, good. A, that should be A, right? Because yeah, I said G sharp when I meant A flat. Well, it doesn't really, who cares? And we're up to A sharp, that's A sharp, yep. And there's B, that's the one that didn't work. B and C didn't work, and now they work. So, what did it come down to? That's almost a good question, because I don't entirely know. I sort of know, but I sort of don't know. Because I had gotten frustrated, obviously, with it, and we talked about that. The motor spins much, much, much longer now that I shut it down. And it's definitely running freer. I have oiled it, and when I first went to fire it back up, after doing some work on it, it took a spell for it to get going, and I think I know what that is. But let's talk about what we did. Shall we go freehand camera here? Let's get some lights and go freehand. Okay, we're going to start with this little board in the corner. When I went to just remove, clean, and reseat the ICs, the one with the black socket now, all the legs fell off of the socket and the chip just kind of disintegrated. So fortunately I was able to obtain one of those and a socket, so I changed that. And then while I had the board out, using my meter on diode test, made sure that none of the transistors were shorted, and I changed out of tolerance capacitors. I then proceeded to flip it this way, and by the way, that didn't fix it. Alright, then we came down bottom side, worked on this board, same general deal. Checked all of the transistors, reseated and cleaned the ICs, and replaced out of tolerance capacitors. That still didn't fix it. Came up to this board, checked all of those 4 zillion diodes with our meters, tried to kind of reseat the chips. That's a lot of chips to be reseating, and didn't want one of them to explode. And there's a big fat black, it's black now, capacitor. It was a 40 microfarad 75 volter. That has to deal with the motor drive. It's high voltage there. The original one was a 40. I replaced it with a 47, and I need to finish the screws in here. But fired it back up, and the damn motor didn't spin at all. I got mad. I turned it off and on a couple times. I think I was just waiting for that new capacitor to charge. And then the motor began to spin smoothly. And I started dialing through and testing it, and I had C, but I didn't have B. How weird. What changed? So I pulled the board back out again, undid these connectors, which seemed to have some kind of gummy substance on them. Maybe somebody smoked around this. Went in with the contact cleaner, cleaned them very thoroughly and reseated them, and lo and behold, now we have B. So, could a lot of my adventure have been avoided? Maybe. But sometimes when you're, digging through this and all you got's a schematic and you're kind of a solder monkey like me rather than a super high-end electrical engineer, you just take your meter and look for resistors that are way out of tolerance, diodes and transistors that might be shorted, or poor connections anywhere. And I think we finally found it. So I'm going to finish giving this a bath, and then we can enjoy it. Yeah, by the way, there's our pile of capacitors that were out of tolerance. That's certainly not all of them, but, I figure that's what, $1 worth of capacitors maybe? $1 or $2 worth of capacitors. And these stupid little chips, I changed both of the chips actually. I still have one good one. Those are about $5 a piece with shipping. And the sockets, again, you can get probably 10 of them for $5 with shipping, so we didn't have to invest that much to get this working. And give it a bath and put this last couple screws in it. Alright, we're going to check our findings. So now we have there's A, right? And we'll go to an A sharp. Good. There's B, there's been our problem child. There we go. Go up to C. Looks okay. Up to C sharp. Looks okay. D. Yep. E flat. Yep. E. This is not the best microphone, so it's not yielding quite the best picture, but F. F sharp. Good. G. Good. G sharp, A flat. Back to A, up a whole octave there. Looking good. Let's try B again. It's our nemesis. There it is. C, our other nemesis. There it is. Yeah, buddy. Let's keep climbing. C sharp. D. D sharp. Or E flat. Yeah, this speaker at this point is starting to get kind of ratty, so let me turn it down. This little pocket tuner is not the best, but it works for what we're trying to accomplish. There's F. Let's see, what are we on? We're on D sharp. E. That E looks beauty, don't it? E sharp. Or, yep. That's F. What am I talking about? G. G sharp. No, we're on G now. I skipped something. I skipped F sharp. We're on G. There's G sharp. Come on, we can get the picture to clarify. There we go. It's a matter of lining it up well with this microphone so it hears it without all the overtones. Back to A. It's there. It's getting high pitched. It's getting to be kind of a nemesis of this microphone. This is a cheap microphone. A sharp, back to B. Here we go. Will it work? No. Is it really gonna screw us? It is. Let's see if C is gonna work. That's a really friggin' high C and I've lost it. What? Okay, so with the lid off, I found if I, when the connector, this is connector, I think it's connector C, when it's not working for B, if I kind of just put a little bit of downward pressure on it, it does. I don't see any hairline cracks here, but I'm going to reflow this anyway, and then I'm going to go into connector C there, and we're going to work those pins to make sure they make a nice contact. Oh, you can't see the connector C. That's connector C. There we go. Okay, so we're going to try this again from the bottom. The lowest note this can produce, my stupid little tone generator, my inaccurate tone generator, is a second octave A sharp, second octave B, C, still good, D, or C sharp, excuse me, D, good, D sharp, E flat, good, E, good, F, looks okay. You can see by where how I hold it to the microphone and how many harmonics get into it kind of depends on how clear the picture is. This is a pukey microphone. F sharp, G. This would actually show up better had this, been in its dark cabinet and I didn't have the lights on as brightly. There's G sharp. And if this was actually a little louder, that would help. Alright, A, good, A sharp, good, B. Hey, there's our B again. This time it works. And we're going to go to C. Strobe reel has to change a lot from B to C, speed-wise, but that one always takes a split second. C sharp. D, yeah, there's D, D sharp. It's tuned in. Again, that's the picture quality is kind of more akin to my microphone and where I have the little beepy speaker for this. E. There's a better picture of E. It's trying. It's a stupid cheesy microphone. As we start to go up in pitch, it's going to get worse. F looks good. See, we're up there. F sharp, good. G, good. G sharp, good. A, good. A sharp, good. High B. Oh, there it is. Still working. Alright. C. High C. Still working. D. That's nice. That's a beautiful picture, ain't it? That's a 5th octave E. So that's, for some of these strobes, they have a particular pitch they like, there's like a particular range that they do really well with, but it depends on how clean your note is. And if you're tuning a guitar, sometimes it helps to roll your tone knob down, so it would normally sound like mud out of your amplifier, but the tuner likes it better. making it all the way around the horn. Are we going to be able to check all the notes that this can generate? We can. That's a B. It's there. The weird fizziness is just the angle. If I get the angle right so it doesn't get as many overtones, it's still there. It's locked in. And that's 6th octave C. Can we get it? We do. We get it. Holy cow. Can we go even higher? We can. Yay. This tuner starts to go a little flat. There we go. And we're back to our really low A sharp, which is all the way over here. And we'll try our B again. Oh, it's still working, people. Woo! Still working. Woo! Try the C. I know this is boring watching an idiot test his work, but it seems like every time I put the lid back on, this thing was giving me the finger. Alright, I'm going to call it good. I'm going to put the lid back on, and if you see me testing again, you'll know it's because it didn't frickin' work again. Okay, so I've successfully been able to run through the ranges all the way several times, and it's good. So the C and the B that weren't working now work. Hooray. Okay, so what do we learn from this experience? We learned at the end game it was a bad connection on C, but in the meantime, while we were checking connections all over the place, we learned that this had been in some moisture and one of the ICs was really crusty and turned into dust when we touched it. And we learned a lot of the capacitors, particularly those along the bottom, had gone out of tolerance, probably because they had sucked up moisture. So we did a number of maintenance repairs on this, or just maintenance on this, that was probably wholly unnecessary to get it working, but it is what it is. This was a bit of a time eater, but now this can go join the rest of its family. You can check through my other videos if you'd like to see. The granddaddy of strobe tuning is the Conn Strobotuner, followed by the Conn Strobotuner ST-11, and then there was a 2, a 4, a 6, an 8, and then we jumped up to 11. This was a ST-11, and then I think there was an ST-12 that looked just like this. But, and then of course after Conn was sold off, the technology went over to Peterson, who still produces strobe tuners to this day. They're super accurate into nature guitars with these, and you will be pleased. So now we have the solid state Conn Strobotuner to go with the rest of our tube Strobotuners. I hope it doesn't feel like the weird oddball. And this has the same calibration thing that the tube ones do, where you adjust your calibration knob, you put it to calibrate down here, and then you adjust your little knob till the pattern at the bottom gets stopped, and based on your 60 Hertz wall current, which is pretty stable, you will be good. Yay, it works. Have a great day.